name's Jane Wigg, and I've got Matt Hazeldine with us today from Lymphoedema United. You'll know that on Lymphedema World Awareness Week that we are concentrating on the things that we don't say. So it's really important today, and I really welcome Matt to be here to talk to us. So Matt, thank you for attending. So I guess our first question of the day is, what types of situations have you been in that you feel that things are not said within that clinical appointment, particularly maybe assessment or maybe on wellness and how you're feeling?
Thank you, Jane, for having me on. Yeah, this is from personal experience, but I don't think it's unusual for men that I've spoken to feel the same. Certainly early on within diagnosis, maybe the first months, year, perhaps, you're very aware of body image. And that has an impact, as it did with me, self-confidence, self-esteem, the thought of wearing stockings to bed, and killing the mood and, sort of the romantic side of it wasn't really important at that stage. Is that something that I talked openly about with my clinician? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In fact, I don't even think I've mentioned it to any fellas really that I've spoken about, but it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah, and you're certainly not alone with that. I would imagine that there's many people that feel the same, and it's how to approach that with their healthcare professional.
And we recognize how busy they are. And one of the last things we want to do is add another half an hour to the clinic appointment because we're waffling on about how we feel, and how exposed we feel and how perhaps embarrassed we are wearing these garments potentially to bed. So I personally am very conscious about that. But I think one of the suggestions that we could do, we generally as a community, is get that question out early on in the appointment. One thing I've realized is eye contact makes the situation more embarrassing. So if you ask the question and your clinician is measuring your limbs or, measuring you for garments or checking your skincare, there's no eye contact potentially during that period. So you could be more comfortable having that conversation. But I think it's important because, as we know, with lymphedema, it's not just the physical challenges that we face on a daily basis, but it's also the effect it can have on our confidence, on our self-esteem, our mental well-being. It brings us down on various levels. Some people less so, more people that have had mobility issues, perhaps it can be a chain around their ankle. So speaking about it openly is a big step forward. And I was a real terrible example of that for years. And then it took me 4 years to go, right, come on then, get open and start communicating, and it's actually quite refreshing. So I speak to many guys who've got in contact, and we can talk openly as we are doing on a one-to-one.
And that's great because it is that all of the lymphedema staff that you see, or predominantly, will be trained in having these conversations and in understanding some of the symptoms and problems and lifestyle issues that you may be living with. But of course, if we're not living with it ourselves as therapists, it makes it much more challenging for us to understand that. I think you're right, absolutely. Preparing that question at the beginning of your appointment so that there is time to allocate to that. I think that I would much prefer to spend my time in an appointment assisting with some of those other issues rather than measuring a limb, which is important, but there are so many other things that can be affecting life that are also important as well. So prepare for that question and then have the the strength in order to answer that, knowing that people are trained, and if they don't have the answers and they can't support you, they can signpost elsewhere as well and get you to the right people.
Yeah, definitely. Body image is all important. We're all guilty of being too self-critical, I think, in normal life, let alone when you've got a chronic swelling like lymphedema, which, can turn parts of your body into quite unsightly areas, and it does kind of make one feel quite embarrassed. And I didn't wear shorts in public for 10 years, for example. that's how it affected me personally. So body image is all important. And I think by speaking to your partner about how you're feeling, there are ways in which you can work around it. And, we touched on intimacy earlier. And since surgery, I have to wear my compression stockings day and night. And it's not always something that gets you in the mood when you're wearing this lovely, attractive beige thigh-high stocking to bed. So this may not be right for everybody, but it's right for me. I take it off. I have my 10 minutes, let's go half an hour, let's be generous, of freedom by not wearing the garment. And it actually, gives yourself a little boost. It makes you feel a bit more like you again. So why not?
And that's so important, isn't it? When you've got these changes and those body image changes, is kind of really trying to love the new you and accept the new you. With lymphedema being a chronic condition, it's not going to go. Maybe we can help reduce that. But actually knowing that your body is supporting you in this situation as well, and is that you can live the best life that you can within some of the restrictions that lymphedema may give you, but to live your life to the full and embrace the new you.
Absolutely right. And the number of times I've heard, I have lymphedema, but I'm not going to let it control my life. I will control it and not let it control me. So I totally agree with that. And I think, if your partner gets on board with just the sensitivities of how you're feeling, that makes a huge difference. But one of the first things my wife said to me when I was newly diagnosed was, it's just a case of getting used to the new normal.
Yes,
And that
absolutely.
stuck with me for 15 years nearly, that the new normal takes a whole different shape and form, from clothes to clumsiness to, people staring and asking questions. It's a whole new world when you come out and expose yourself to having this condition.
And try to be prepared for some of those questions as well. When we see people within clinic, I will say, prepare yourself with some answers. When somebody says, why are you wearing that compression garment, or what's that about? Is that have an answer for those people that you want to give a quick snapshot, and have a more in-depth answer for somebody that you want to give a bit more detail to. And also, there's a book that's come out, I don't know if you've read it, called Let Them. So let them think whatever they want to think, because this is your life, and for you to live it as good as you absolutely can.
Yeah, Mel Robbins. Funnily enough, my wife bought me that for my birthday in January. So far, yeah, it's totally relatable.
Yeah,
Good read. So add that to your collection. Let Them by Mel Robbins.
that's brilliant. And we're not getting any fees for recommending any books, are we?
No, 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 we're not.
Except
No.
your own. Except your own books. So, yeah, thank you so much, Matt. That's been eye-opening, and I'm sure it'll be really helpful. And for anybody that is feeling that they want to discuss any more, or that they need more time to discuss their lymphedema or lipedema, then please do seek out your therapists, and please do go to Matt and Lymphedema United, or find us at the Lymphedema Training Academy, or Lymph Vision, and we're here to help and support as well. So you're not alone. Thank you.
Thank you.